Every week, players gather at their local game stores. They trade, and they battle valiantly for both fun and glory. But amidst their triumph, only two will make it to the finals to fight. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Final Fights. Today we're going to be looking at Bonney versus Zoro, and yes, that happens to be me playing Bonney, taking it all the way up to the finals here. Currently 3-0. Had some pretty tough matchups. You'll see some videos coming up in the upcoming weeks of some of those matchups. Had definitely fought hard to get here, but we're playing against Zoro, which we have a pretty decent win rate into for the most part, and we ended up winning. I think we actually lost the die roll, and Zoro decided to go second. Zoro obviously really likes going second. It has a pretty decent curve going second, also pretty decent curve going first. I think the whole point was to force me to go first, but honestly I'm not too afraid to go first. I kind of like going first. It's not too much of a thing, but I think we see the shut up and come with me going to hand off the Nami, which means especially with one Don up, we're gonna have that coming out. And you know what, I ain't afraid. I'm not afraid at all. I got balls of steel. I'm gonna attack right into that and see what he can show me. Hopefully not a 3-drop chopper, not the searcher chopper here. That's my worst worst thing here, and we end up not seeing that. Luckily my aggressiveness paid off here, and instead we just get the 3-drop, the other smaller chopper. This one just attaches a Dawn. Nothing crazy here, and we're gonna just see a Dawn go to lead, and then still a 7k hit going into lead. They're just gonna take that one here, and we're going to pass the turn and leave up one Dawn for funsies here. Likely just going to rest the chopper if he decides to go for a double attack here. And let's see here what ends up happening. I think I was a bit nervous at this game here. This Zoro player that I'm playing against across from is actually does pretty well with this deck. Actually, I think top 8'd a pretty heavy player event. I think like 70 to 100 players. Ended up winning that Zoro alt leader that he's got across the board there. So this guy very proficient at Zoro. Gonna be rocking a lot of alt arts. His deck is pretty pimped out as well. So we're gonna see how well we can contest against it. My hand, not exactly the best hand I wanted to see. We've got Hody, we've got the 9-crop Zoro, so just a few bricks in hand. So we're just gonna take this for your first few hits here. I'm definitely gonna be taking at least enough hits to go down to maybe three or 2, and then try to set up with just the amount of counter in hand here. But we've got 2 options this turn. We've got a carrot that we could play to freeze the chopper, or we have a Cavendish that we can play out to untap some Dawn and instead rest something here. Right now I think I'm debating between whether it's worthwhile to just arrest something or just to keep the chopper frozen. I think right now keeping the chopper frozen is exactly what we want to do here, because every time that chopper attacks, he's going to look at the top 5, grab out another body to put into play, and just going to slowly overwhelm me here as I try to catch up. And we're going to see an attach. We're going to see a mole pistol come down, immediately taking out my carrot. I really wanted that carrot to stick around. Carrot was going to be a complete menace this game, but unfortunately taken out by a mole gun. And opponent's just going to swing 7k, and I'm just going to take that one as well. I think I feel pretty happy sitting at 3. I'm likely going to start countering out of attacks here. Gonna be playing the Zoro deck pretty controlling, so gonna just attack into characters here. Let's see here. We're gonna play out the Cavendish. We're likely gonna play out the Rouge as well, so not gonna have any Dawn to attach to leader, but we're gonna have one Dawn set up at the end of turn with Bonnie's effect. We're just gonna swing 5k into the chopper, see what happens, and he lets the chopper go. So that tells me one thing here, and likely he has not a very good hand, and by not a very good hand, a very bricky hand, right? So maybe potentially if he had a 1k counter, it was a 1k counter that was likely something he wanted to keep and hold on to. But we'll see here what ends up happening. But that was kind of a telltale sign for me that something fishy is going on in Zoro's hand, and we're going to kind of hold on to that information as we go throughout the game here, and kind of keep that in the back of our mind here as Zoro's on their 8 Dawn turn. I was kind of afraid of a potential dragon. Dragon would be pretty annoying right now. But instead, just going to play out the chopper here. Dragon would have pushed, 7k and 9, and then like a 10k swing, which would have been pretty devastating for my hand. But I do have the Shanks. I do have a Shanks in hand, or I do pick up a 9 Shanks on this next turn. So if it was the dragon, I could just clean it up. But instead, we're going to mulligan a second time here. Going to clean up my Rouge. And the board is growing over there. Got another chopper on the field. Grabbed a blocker chopper here. And now we're going to swing 6k into lead here. And I think based on that, we're going to rest the chopper again. And then I think we're going to start giving a little bit of counter here. So we're going to give it 2k out of hand, as we want to try to stay at about 3 to 2 life. There is a specific card in the Zoro deck that some Zoros run, and it does rely on you having a certain amount of life. Now we'll see how well I play around that here, as we've got the 9-drop Zoro just in the top of the hand here. I think we're just thinking what we're doing. I think we're just chatting here for a second before we go into this turn and draw the card. Gonna go up to 9 Don. You know, we could just play the Shanks out, just clear the chopper. It could be a really easy way to clear the chopper, swing with the Cavendish, set up 2 Don. And then there's like a few other opportunities that we could do this turn. But I just kind of want to get the Shanks on board while I can. And so we're just going to put the Shanks on board, going to take out the 22 chopper. 2 choppers down, 2 turns in a row. A limited value off the chopper. We're going to swing Cavendish into the 4K blocker chopper before it stands up and starts blocking. We got 2 Don left to work with, and I'm kind of thinking here 2 different strategies I could employ here. You can see me pull the Apu straight to my front of my hand here. That does rest to 2 or less, so I could rest the Nami and just take it out with my leader. Still have up 1 Don, but I think right now I'm valuing having 2 Ks in hand. Instead, and I believe we just decided to attach 1 to lead and just swing 6K. We got to obviously keep poking life here. We're gonna have to take game eventually. It's gonna get to the point where we either see a kid and completely stonewall Zoro, or we don't see a kid and we have to play for the board and continue to be slightly aggressive here, because Zoro, a whole lot of rush threats here, and as they're on their 10 Don turn, we're gonna see what they end up doing. They're gonna attach 1 to lead so far. Potentially, I have to be aware of potential dragon plays at all times. Dragon would be pretty annoying. It likely would result in me losing my Cavendish, and Cavendish is such a great card to have in Bonney. Just being able to have 2 additional Don every turn to be flexible with, most of the time just holding it up for leader effect. We're going to see a 7K into lead here. I do have the counter to get out of it, and you know, I could just give the 2K, 1K here, but I think there's a specific card that I'm not thinking about right now, and it's a card that I haven't had to think about for a long time here as we rest the chopper. And it's a specific card that I used to play in a deck about 4 or 5 formats ago. And you're going to see me, unfortunately, walk myself into it here. And we're going to take that here, pick up another 2K, and we're going to see 4 tapped. And yes, my friends, it is Kid and Killer. Kid and Killer now seeing me with 2 or less life. It's going to become in a 7K plus 1 and an 8K, actually. I'm going to 2K, 1K out of it. We're going to fix it here in a second, as that is an 8K swing. So we're gonna roll that back here and give the 2K, 2K. Just let the Zoro player let me do that. And then now we're going to see another Kid and Killer. And oh my goodness, now it's another 8K swing. We end up grabbing a trigger off of that rests to 4 or less, but unfortunately not doing too much here. And we're going to go back to our turn. And I've got a carrot in hand. Just pick that off the top. It's going to be a nice way to deal with at least keep one of the Kid and Killers frozen if I don't decide to send an attack at it here. But we need to do a little bit of board control, because those 2 Kid and Killers, they caught me by surprise, right? If I had just countered a Zoro swing, those Kid and Killers would have been a whole lot smaller, and something not to worry about. We're going to swing Shanks into one of them, take one of them out here. I think we're going to sink a 5K into the other, see what happens. We get a 2K out of hand, which is pretty nice for me. It shows that my opponent maybe doesn't have a likely 1K in hand, so I'm happy to get the 2K out. Because we did kind of suss earlier in the game that the opponent was pretty light on counter. And I think what we're going to do is, now that we've attacked 5 into it and he's giving me a 2K, we're going to play the Bonney and just freeze the Kid Killer and just no longer think about it here. And I think we're just going to use Cavendish to clean up the rest. You know, if my opponent has another 2K, that is something I have to think about. But I do want to use my Don relatively wisely here. We're going to play out the Kid and Killer, look at the top 5, try to find something nice. We do see a kid there in the top amount here, and I think we're going to add the kid to hand. Yeah, nope, we're going to add a Rouge instead. Okay, me valuing, at this point in the game, kid is pretty decent, but my opponent showed me 2 mulligans already, right? If your opponent is willy-nilly throwing mulligans around, they have another in hand for sure, and mulligan would absolutely devastate a potential kid play. So instead we're just going to play a blocker and pass the turn back here. Got a Nami, got 10 Don, got a Zoro. I'm at 1 life. Bit of counter in hand here. What's the worst thing that could happen on this specific turn? Well, we're about to see potentially what could be the worst thing to happen. Not only have I completely forgotten about Kid and Killer, I've also forgotten about how many exist in a potential deck, and we've seen 2 so far. Are we going to see 2 more? That's you know, spoiler alert, likely going to happen here. We're going to see 2 attached to lead here. We're going to see a 7K at lead, and oh my goodness, this is really awkward. Bonney's effect, really good, right? But really awkward against rush characters, right? 'Cause you don't get that opportunity to rest another character, so we could just rest the Nami here. But I have to also, in the back of my mind, when you're thinking about Zoro, you're thinking about rush characters coming in, but you also have to think about like unblockable cards like Diable Jambe, Rush Luffy, the Sanji. So we're just gonna give a nice little 8k, get up to 8k with a 0 cost event plus a Hody just to get out of that hair. I have to be completely cognizant of all of these outs that Zoro could have. So if I take the life, I could be in a situation where Diable Jambe kills me, right? Or an unblockable threat kills me. If I block, I could be in another situation. So it's just better to, I think at this point, just give 2 cards from hand just to get out of that effect. And now I have to patiently wait as Zoro plots my demise here. We're gonna see another Kid Killer. This is the 3rd copy of Kid Killer come out. It's gonna swing another 8k here. Oh man, I'm definitely punching myself for the previous turn, taking that 3rd life. But we're gonna just take that one here. And my whole thought process was, if he Diable Jambe something now, make something unblockable now, I'm gonna have enough out of hand to counter out of it, right? So I'm not too afraid at this point. But we're gonna see 4 more taps. We're gonna see the 4th Kid Killer. You can see me laughing here. 4 Kid Killers, 4 copies, 2 turns apart. This is absolutely devastating for Bonney. I'm just gonna rest the Nami because that's all I can do. We're gonna block with Urouge, and it's gonna be a pass the turn. So now I'm kind of in this situation where, okay, I need to think about potentially going for game here, right? So if I keep clearing my opponent's board, especially now sitting at 0 life, probably don't even have a blocker in hand, I have to pivot strategies. Opponent only has 3 cards in hand. Based on the play patterns early in the game, likely some bricks here. So we're just going to start pinging. So we're going to go 7k at lead. We're going to freeze one of the Kid Killers. We're completely going to ignore the board. We have to go for game here, or else we lose the game. I've got a Hody in hand as well, which is another body that's going to be able to swing here. But I really wanted to have the Urouge on board because that would have just been another way to ping Zoro here. 4 cards in hand, 2 life. Really afraid of a Mulgun coming out of life, right? Mulgun can just give minus 5k. It wouldn't KO anything, but giving minus 5k is incredibly brutal. So we're gonna swing another 7k here. Gonna take that one as well. Okay. Now we have to think a little bit harder here. Likely just gonna play the Hody down, use the Cavendish to set up some Dawn here. Is probably the play here. Yeah. So we're gonna play Hody out. Nothing to rest. Nothing to a life to take either. And we're just going to attack 6k with Cavendish. We're going to untap 2. Going to get a 2k out of hand. Starting to see some counter come out here. But these next 2 hits got to stick. And the best way they're going to stick is if I swing 10k and then 11k. He's going to take the 10k hit. All right, this is a good sign. We're going to swing the 11k. And he only had 2k counter in hand. And we were able to steal the game out from under 4 Kid Killers. 2 turns apart. My goodness, I was not expecting that out of Zoro. Incredibly close game. I mean, if I didn't kill him this turn, I was dead. Right, absolutely dead. And I was able to clean it up, ended up going 4-0 in the event. Anyways, if you enjoy this type of content, definitely subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.